Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome to this significant virtual side event on social development. This is being held alongside the World Social Summit currently underway in Qatar. It is truly an honor to bring together such a diverse and committed group of stakeholders, all united by the goal of advancing social progress on a global scale. The World Social Summit on Social Development is convening under the powerful theme of fostering inclusive, resilient, and sustainable societies. Now, this summit serves as a key platform where governments, civil society organizations, international bodies, and the private sector collaborate to share innovative ideas and reaffirm their dedication to social justice, equality, and human dignity. Qatar's leadership in hosting this summit highlights the urgent recognition that social development is central to addressing many of the pressing challenges we face today. These challenges include eradicating poverty, reducing inequality, improving access to quality education and healthcare, and ensuring that decent work opportunities for everyone. Over the course of the summit, delegates will engage in detailed discussions which are focused on accelerating progress towards the Sustainable Development Goals, particularly those linked to social inclusion and empowerment. The summit encourages collaboration and the exchange of best practices and policy innovations that can be applied worldwide. Our side event today, which is titled Guardians of Environment, Connecting Posterity to Sustainability, builds on this global momentum. It provides a vital space to deepen discussions on key social development issues and to explore actionable strategies that align with the needs of our community and organizations. So together, we will showcase impactful initiatives, foster strong partnership, and inspire collective efforts that contributes meaningfully to the social well-being of all people. So I encourage each of you to engage actively, share insight openly, and participate in constructive dialogue. Your voices are very critical as we work together to create a future where no one is left behind and where sustainable social development becomes a shared reality. So once again, thank you for joining this session. I look forward to a productive, inspiring discussions ahead. And without further ado, we're going to, as we continue, we're just going to quickly invite to give us an insight about the Guardians of Environment, connecting prosperity to sustainability. I'm going to invite the founder of DoTheDream Youth Development Initiative, in the name of Adebusi Olutayo Olumadewa, to give us insight about the Guardians of Environment, connecting prosperity to sustainability. So over to you, Adebusi.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Vice President, for that wonderful presentation, for that wonderful opening. Sorry, apologies for some lightning. I'm actually in the transit. At the same time, we have to allow this event to actually happen. The Guardians of Environment, it's a project that enables humanity connect to the environment. It is telling the older generations never to pack their bags yet, knowing fully that their experiences is required in achieving sustainable development goals. It is telling the younger ones to come up with innovations that will challenge and create opportunities for the tripartite challenges, the biodegradable solutions, the climate change to be an history in today's world. It's an opportunity to flip the gap, I'll flip the change and let the world know the opportunities embedded in the blue economy, green economy, as well as renewables. It is creating enormous jobs from blue economies, as well as tapping into the value chains that makes green, blue, and economy, something that can create multiple jobs for millions of people globally. It is giving voices to the younger people, and it is giving voices to the older generations, letting them know their voices count. It is giving women opportunity to thrive. It is giving indigenous people capacity to participate in the value chains that made environment impactful in today's world. And this is why we say guidance of environment. We are the stewardship of our environment. We are the one who's going to steer our environment. And this is what this session it's all about. It's about tapping into the inner machismo of every one of us and making it an opportunity for the world to actually run with. Ladies and gentlemen, the guardians of environment gives wings for nations, for countries to fly. It gives wings for indigenous people to birth new ideas. The guidance of environment creates opportunities for leaders globally to live and connect with people in diverse perspectives. As I conclude, the environment is not just the foundation of human existence. It is the bridge between today's progress and tomorrow's posterity. Yet, unsustainable practices, climate vulnerabilities, and growing inequalities threaten both natural ecosystem and human dignity. And this is the reason we have the guidance of environment for us to bridge this gap. Thank you. Over to you, Mr. Vice President, for that wonderful session. Thank you. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Adebusi. That was really insightful. Thank you for that. So we're going to dive in. As you know, we've had some really great speakers to speak to us today on very, very ideal topical issues. So we got four speakers, and without further ado, I'm going to invite our first speaker, who is going to be speaking today
Hello,
about.
sir. Before you go, I think maybe we need to just introduce the speakers before we just go straight so that every other person can know who they are, introduce the speakers so that we'll move straight to the session. Yeah, I think they are all online now presently. So we introduce the speakers. What do you think, sir, about that? Over to you, sir.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. So we have four speakers today. Our first speaker today is going to be Claudia Hauptmann, who is the CEO, Global Women Leadership Foundation. She's going to be speaking on women as guardians of sustainability, from informal work to green leadership. And of course, our second speaker today will be Joshua T. Berglund, who is the CEO, Words Mayor, and also the Vice President of Growth and Development for DoTheDream. I call Joshua a friend. He's also the Vice President Growth and Development, DoTheDream Youth Development Initiative. He's going to be speaking today on inner stewardship, connecting human potential to environmental guardianship today. And of course, our third speaker will be Chasti uh, Inegbedian. I apologize if I butchered your name. I apologize. I may take a second try once again. Once you say it, I'll say it after you, and I'm sure I'll do better by then. But Chasti is the head of Failure and Social Experiment of Semaform Foundation, who's going to be speaking today on harnessing AI to empower guardians of the environment. And our first speaker is going to be Ati Aluwalia, who is the country chair, India Eco Civilization, who's going to be speaking today on environmental stewardship as a social development, from awareness to action. So those are four speakers today. I'm pretty sure you're looking forward to hearing from them. So without further ado, maybe I should bring up our first speaker today, who is going to be Claudia Upman. Over to you, Claudia.
Yes, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Well, thank you very much. Good morning. I'm speaking here from the UN World Summit for Social Development in Qatar. So I'm really grateful that I can speak to all of you from this position. So good morning, dear moderator, all co-speakers, the organizers of this virtual event, super special, and also welcome to all participants. I'm very honored to speak on behalf of the Global Women Leadership Foundation, a civil society organization. It's headquartered in the Netherlands. We exist now for 12.5 years in this year, 2025. And we have actively participated in numerous UN platforms, including the Office for Partnerships, the European and Central Asian region for UN Women, the Finance for Development series, and so on. Sorry? Can you hear me?
Please go ahead. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, okay. I've heard some voices, so if there are questions, just let me know. But I know that also the connection here is not very strong. So just let me know in a way when it's not working. I will continue. Thank you for that. All right. I first will explain a bit more about the work that we do, and then I will relate to the topics that are presented here and that are also related to this super important event that you are organizing. And then I will conclude. So what are we actually doing within the Global Women Leadership Foundation? Well, our vision is clear. We want to contribute to the development of new leadership globally to create a better future. A vision directly aligned with the UN SDGs. Our mission is to increase the share of women leadership. Women is women and girls. And it's not only about women. We also want to renew the collaboration between women and men and foster a leadership development worldwide. We have 4 key activities that we focus on. The first is knowledge and science. We are working on enhancing the understanding of women leadership across the globe. The second activity is focused on promotion and inspiration of the work that we do. So through keynote sessions and also like a speech like this, we talk about what we do, about our initiatives, and we want to empower and inspire women leaders and girls to develop their leadership. The third activity that we facilitate is global networking, which means we facilitate meaningful dialogue among leaders worldwide. And not only leaders, but also upcoming leaders and also students and girls who want to start their careers. And then the last activity is on leadership projects. We organize programs on political, economic, and social issues, including our project that we are really proud of, which is called Change Tomorrow Today. It's a program that we presented in 2014 to UN. And we're still working on it, and it's quite difficult to execute that, but it's that's not a reason to give up, so we go further with that. Next to this, we also put our work into science. So we are now related to the academic world. And we are, so actually I am working on a PhD. So we have done a lot of research with global leaders, women leaders, and we put now all that material into analysis, which is also, it culminated into a kind of management book and a documentary film, and that is titled How Women Leaders Create the World. When people would like to visit our website, you can also see the full documentary film over there for free. So we continue to share our insights through workshops, leadership programs, and collaborate with universities. And the first papers that we produce are about how trauma shape women's leadership identity, which is highlighting transformations in the identity of women and how that shapes their leadership. And that leadership is, of course, related to all kind of SDGs. And that is based on research over the last 30 years. More findings from our work is about presence. So how do women leaders present themselves, besides the way we all get learned how to present yourself, but presence is more than what you get taught, it's what you do, and what you do also when nobody's there, and what you do when you are like just in friendship and in family. And the last research we're working on at the moment is about success. So what is success actually? How do you measure that, and who is defining it? So success explained by yourself is always different than what others see as successful, or when they admire you. That's different. But yeah, if you want to know more about that, we can talk about that for long. But for now, let's go to our statement. So our message today for this super nice and super important topic about sustainability and the green future is, yeah, our message actually is simple but urgent. We think it's super important to think big, to act big, and to also make bold decisions, bold choices, and collaborate. Collaboration is the key to building a better future because it truly matters. In response to the UN themes, we emphasize and are committed to continue our contribution to, first, gender equality and women's empowerment, because as you now know, we believe in increasing women in leadership. The second, we think it's important to keep contributing to international development and cooperation, because we cannot do it all alone. We need to strengthen real global collaboration. The third important topic is on international trade. So if we want to support women and girls, we need to work on economic empowerment and promoting trade as a catalyst for development. The fourth topic is on science and innovation, connecting global leadership studies through PhD research, for example. But all topics that we wonder and that we think are important and valuable are worth to further investigate. And the fifth important topic is data and monitoring. So it's really important, if we do things, whether it's big or small, it doesn't really matter, that we capture that in data, that we write minutes, that we talk about it, communicate about it, because nobody will know if we don't tell them. So I did talk a lot already, but how does this all relate to DoTheDream themes? So women as guardians of sustainability, from informal work to green leadership, that means that investing in women and girls is the biggest investment that we can do in the world. It's also the most important improvement that we can get. So the new president for the General Assembly of UN is Annalena. She also emphasized in the days that are past here in Qatar that investing in women is so super important, and it will bring not only good for the women, but for all of us. It will bring good for all regions and all people. And yesterday we had a big meeting where the head of state of Norway said that the potential value of women's investment is even larger than the value of oil and gas together in the world, which is amazing. So it is investing in change. It's investing in a better future tomorrow. And we from Global Women Leadership, we are contributing to that investment. And we would like to invite you all to do your big or small step, whether it's talking with others, whether it's doing something big, everything is fine. But we need to do things to get further because it matters. How? You would wonder maybe, how can I do that? Well, our world is changing faster than ever before, economically, socially, and environmentally. And that is a fair and inclusive tomorrow depends on the leadership that we nurture today. Let us lead with compassion. Let us lead with courage. Let us lead together. Because a better world is not built by chance, it's built by choice. The world is changing and in need of a lot. Together we can do a lot. A better tomorrow depends on what we do today. Together, let's act decisively because it truly matters. So thank you.
Well done.
Thank you.
You are muted. You are mute.
Of course. Thank you. Hey, once again, Claudia, thank you very much. That was very, very insightful. Thank you for giving us a very great insight as to, how women can be guardians of sustainability and why that is critical and critically important. So thank you for that. All right. As we move on, I'm going to invite my friend who is going to be speaking um, on inner stewardship, connecting human potential to environmental guardianship. Right now, I'm going to invite over Joshua T. Berglund, that's the CEO, World Mayors. Joshua, over to you.
No, I'm the world's mayor. That's not what I'm the CEO of. Anyway, I'm blessed to be here. Thank you, everyone. I'm so glad that I got a phone call telling me that I got the time zone wrong. So it's 2 o'clock in the morning here, and I almost missed this. So really great to see you all. Your beautiful energy is amazing, and thank you for the opportunity to speak today. Friends, colleagues, fellow guardians of this planet, gathered here at the Second World Summit for Social Development in Doha, Qatar, and all over the world. Look around you. Feel the air you breathe, the ground beneath your feet. We are constantly surrounded by information, megatons of carbon emissions, degrees of warming, species lost. Data floods our screens and news feeds, painting a picture of crisis. But today, I want to share a different story. Not just of what we've lost, but of the disconnection we've allowed and the power we hold to reclaim it. It's the story of the forgotten conversation, one we can restart with common sense, community, and a deep desire to be good stewards of this beautiful planet we have been so blessed to inhabit. Imagine walking through a park, head down, scrolling from head imagine walking through a park, head down, scrolling through notifications. The leaves rustle, the air feels unnaturally warm. A familiar bird song is missing. The planet is speaking. But are we listening? Our document, The Guardian Within, posits that our planetary crisis isn't solely about policy failures or technological gaps. It's a crisis of relationship, a profound failure of connection, first within ourselves and then with the living world around us. For too long, a dominant narrative has told us that we are separate from, superior to, nature. As the Vice President of Growth and Development for DoTheDream Youth Development Initiative, I see this disconnection most tragically in our young people, a generation inheriting a world in crisis, often feeling powerless, anxious, and cut from their own potential in the natural world they are called to lead. The planet's response is clear. The World Meteorological Organization has issued repeated warnings, akin to a red alert. 2024 was confirmed as the warmest year on record, with global temperatures averaging about 1.55 Celsius above pre-industrial levels. We have breached the 1.5 Celsius threshold, and the IPCC warns of irreversible impacts. This isn't a distant future. Wildlife populations have plummeted by an average of 73% since 1970. And in regions like Latin America and the Caribbean, that figure is a staggering 95%. Air pollution claims 8.1 million lives annually, making it the second leading risk factor for death globally, with over 700,000 of these deaths among children under 5. Our oceans are choking on plastic. And last year alone, they absorbed 16 zettajoules of heat, an energy equivalent to 140 times the world's entire annual electricity generation. To be realistic, we must acknowledge that human activities extend beyond emissions. Historical evidence shows weather modification has been used in warfare, such as during the Vietnam era to induce excessive rainfall and disrupt operations. Today, discussions around geoengineering raise questions about unintended impacts. These factors, alongside our waste and misuse of resources, compound the challenges. Yet recognizing them calls us to a common sense approach, honest conversations about all influences without division. This isn't abstract data, it's human tragedy. It strikes the most vulnerable hardest. 3.6 billion people, nearly half of humanity, live in areas highly susceptible to climate change. In these regions, the death rate from extreme weather is 15 times higher than in the safer parts of the world. Heat-related deaths among our elders, those over 65, have risen 70% in just 2 decades. This crisis is a multiplier of social injustice and directly undermines the very goals of the summit. At DoTheDream, posterity means the youth we serve daily. We see parallels. Just as a young man's inner disconnection or trauma fuels outer chaos, our collective fragmentation mirrors the planet's wounds. We often treat symptoms without addressing roots, feeding youth fear-based media that paralyzes rather than empowers. So what's the antidote? Our framework calls for inner stewardship, a fundamental reorientation of human consciousness. It's cultivating inner awareness, empathy, and responsibility so pre-environmental action arises naturally and authentically. But let's be clear. This doesn't cost billions in agendas designed to persuade or divide. Instead, it taps into the creator that lives within us all, including this planet and its resources. By inspiring a genuine desire to care and love, not just for nature, but for the people around us, we become better stewards. Education is free. Truth attracts our tribe. We can leverage storytelling to humanize data, to share narratives of hope and resilience that inspire action. We can deploy media literacy to equip our citizens to discern truth from manipulation, bypassing the wasted funds that often steer public belief away from common sense realities. Inner stewardship rests on 3 pillars. First, values. Shifting from egotistic concerns to biospheric ones, caring for nature for its own sake, recognizing our shared essence. Second, identity. Evolving from sporadic green actions to embodying guardianship, making environmental protection core to who we are. Third, connection. Building eco-empathy through mindfulness, feeling our kinship with nature, and fostering community dialogues that empower rather than coerce. This transforms information into personal transformation, nurturing relational values like stewardship, care, and reciprocity. It's the heart of our work at DoTheDream, helping youth build true connection, resilience, and authenticity. Healing our planet starts with this inner work, especially in the next generation. This isn't new. Indigenous peoples, the original guardians, have embodied this for millennia, viewing Earth as Mother Earth, a relative, not a property. Their principles of interconnectedness, reciprocity, and collective responsibility exemplify inner stewardship. Traditional ecological knowledge offers solutions modern science is now embracing. Empowering these voices, especially from underserved communities, is vital. At DoTheDream, we equip the youth to find their voice and share these time-tested wisdoms. Hope is blooming in the geography of hope. We see it in the legacy of leaders like Chico Mendes, who gave his life to defend the Amazon. We see it today in innovators like Luis Mabula, whose cacao project in the Philippines builds climate resilience and economic empowerment. We see it in the community convergencies across Africa that blend ecological restoration with social empowerment. And in these indigenous floating gardens of Bangladesh, adapting to rising waters. These indigenous-led efforts prove investing in the planet is a direct investment in humanity, peace, and prosperity. We face two journeys. The outer one of decarbonizing, restoring, and rebuilding, and the inner one of healing our relationship with nature, awakening the guardian within. They are inseparable. This is a call to awaken the guardian within, a path open to all. How? Cultivate connection. Put down the phone. Walk mindfully. Tend to plant. Notice the sky. Turn nature into a relationship, sparking that inner desire to protect. Mindful consumption. Every choice is a vote. Refuse, reduce, reuse, repair, recycle. Shift to plant-based foods. Support local. Act with intention. Knowing small steps build stewardship. Engage in the collective. Start conversations in your community. Share stories. Volunteer. Participate in citizen science. Use media literacy to discern truth and amplify real accounts. Connect inner practice to outer action, fostering a tribe united by care. As Vice President of Growth and Development for DoTheDream Youth Development Initiative, my work bridges divides and empowers youth for a better future. This crisis is the ultimate call for connection, an invitation to end the forgotten conversation. To stop, listen, and respond with courage, empathy, and action rooted in belonging. By awakening the guardian within, especially in our youth, we reclaim our humanity. We build a just, equitable, thriving future on respect for all life. Let's embark on this journey, empowering our children to lead. Thank you.
Thank you, Joshua. That was thank you for the energy and the passion through which you talk about these things, and I really appreciate that energy. We're gonna probably flip the order just a little bit. I do see that Artie is here already, and I'm actually gonna flip to Artie as our next speaker, who's going to be speaking on environmental stewardship as a social development from awareness to action. By the way, Artie Aluwali is the country chair, India Eco-Civilization. So Artie, over to you.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you so much. And Adiba say thank you for including me yet again. And Joshua, I think you painted one of the most realistic pictures and figures and facts and reality. So thank you for that. And also Claudia, the thing that she mentioned about including women, and specifically in science and tech. So I'm going to speak to all of these aspects slowly, and I'll try my best to keep it real. So let's start with DoTheDream. What is our dream, effectively, generationally, across timelines, across humanity? Our dream has been to see a state of peace, to see a state of cohesion, to see a state of balance. But our institutions are created to derail us from that. Clearly, every institution you can put your finger on today is derailing that dream that we want to do, that we want to make come alive. Under eco-civilization, let me give you a little background about what eco-civilization is all about. It was started by the ex-Deputy Prime Minister of Slovenia, who's also served as the Minister for Transport of the EU. So she is a very, very passionate person. And I believe eco-civilization started around 2022, if I get the dates right. And as of today, we are across 50 different countries. The format of eco-civilization is to identify women leaders in different states, different nationalities, different geographies, and give them this position of empowerment for the game-changing work that they've been doing, but they don't do this alone. There's always a male counterpart as well. So that is the model that we maintain to create an example of how leadership needs to be balanced, and that balance can be achieved through inclusion and through that cohesion, that collaboration. Looking at the state of the world today, and let me show you around as to where I'm sitting. So I was on a road trip, and that road trip ended literally 5 minutes before this call started. Just look at the place I'm at, right? This is an old fort, an old heritage property. They've retained literally every aspect of the greenery that was here, and they've merged the infrastructure or the structure that had to be built along with everything that was already natural. I also run a family business that's into construction products. And interestingly, based on the recognition that the Indian government has been giving to the business, we got inducted into energy transition as well. And the model that I built towards energy transition, I literally sat and thought about it, that what is going to drive energy transition in the world? Now, when I thought and I sat with myself, I realized that everything that needs transition in the context of energy, so everything in the universe, from atoms to synapses, works on how the energy or the energy sources are present within the entity. So when we look at the Earth, when we look at our planet, our energy sources are damaging instead of powering or empowering, right? And I looked at the whole landscape of energy systems currently in energy transition, and I realized that the model that's going to work for me is called INFUSE. That stands for infrastructure, food systems, energy technologies, waste management, water leadership, well-being of the societies, and security. So INFUSE is the acronym for all of these. And the reason I came up with this model is that we need to start thinking ecosystemically. And Joshua mentioned this, that we are not separate. We don't even remember when in history we were separated from nature. We were declared atop the food chain. We've done a terrible job of being atop that food chain. A horrible, horrible job. And I think at Qatar, I'm hoping that we will have enough voices to bring this on center stage and, you know, get people, get policy makers, get leadership to really question themselves that, are you really willing to be known by the decisions that you make and the kind of decisions you're making? What is it that you're actually creating for posterity? There was a time when I got pulled up for saying something really controversial, but I think now that I haven't been jailed for it, I can say that again. And the statement was, that every leader on this planet sitting with his finger on the button to destroy the world is a product of poor nurturing and unresolved childhood traumas. I, as a third generation, person of independent India, somewhere involuntarily, I carry that residue of the conflict. So if our history is not teaching our leadership and the people who should step forward as stewards, that if you play this way, you only corrupt future generations, then there are two things that are possible. One, they're not supposed to be leaders. Second, that is their MO. So what are we going to do about it at the grassroots, at the basic level, at the core level of the forest that's deep within each one of us? Another very interesting thread that I'd like to tie in here was I was talking to the lady who was in that room while the SDGs were being crafted. And she was shocked at how far and wide the word sustainability has gone in the world, whereas it was suggested just as a working term. So we are at a point where we have to question the terminology, the ontologies of the terminologies. Are they building direction for us to check our action? Hell no. Pardon my French. So I am replacing, and I'm giving this away freely, I'm replacing the word sustainability with nature reverence. The moment I ask you, the shirt you're wearing, is that sustainable? You'd be like, oh, well, I bought it cheap. But the moment I ask you, do you know how the shirt was made? Who all was sacrificed? What all was sacrificed? Are you respectful within? Are you reverent towards nature and its natural flows? Are you mindful of even stepping down from your high horse and saying, let me sit back and observe what are the emergent laws of nature in the situation, in the conflict, in the context, in the present, in the past that's leading us into the future? UNESCO brought out a report that said there is only 1 in 10 women in the science and technology leadership space. When I look at the heavy engineering sector, which is one of the most debauched sectors of human engagement in the world, it's literally emptying the earth. It's like drill, baby, drill, and how. Where is the care in there? Where is the factor of care? What do we care? How do we care? What is the shape and size and the nature and the depth and the substance of the care that we bring in? And if it isn't there, then how is it we are not able to understand that the pure play transactional, exploitative, transactional standpoint or stance is not going to take us far out into the future? It's almost like we're pressing our kill switch collectively. I'm not reading out from anywhere. I'm not even thinking. I didn't even do my research because this is something that we carry and we need to carry within ourselves. So policy, forget about policy also, that comes much later. Intention, the humility, the degree, nature, and passion for participation, for a whole systems transformation is the need of the hour. And it begins from within us. It begins from around us, the immediate neighborhood, the immediate family systems. And I can say this, why? Since 2014, I've been working on a system called Be Well. To me, it is both a wish upon the next generation, and it also stands for behavior and well-being. And through this framework that I literally created by observing people on the street, I realized that behavior is cultured. It's a conditioning. Every person's behavior on the planet is a product of that conditioning. The conditioning is executed through the institutions. The institutions are controlled through bureaucracy, through business, through politics, through, so-called leadership. That entire hierarchy has to shift. And when I was working on Be Well, I ended up working on agendas ranging from terrorism to riot victimization to prison reforms and whatnot. And everywhere I went, and I went to the literal underbelly of these places. And what I realized was that everybody is hungry to see a better time, but nobody has the direction for it because we've been disabled to build that direction by not questioning the system, by not questioning the father, not questioning the mother, not questioning the village leader, not questioning the teacher, not questioning anybody and everybody. We need to question each other. And I think the only thing that's going to help us get to a better point in our future, which seems very unlikely given the fact that there are dime a dozen companies that are being set up to now start mining the space debris in the low Earth orbit. So we can imagine the magnitude of how wild and uncontrollable this capitalistic dance is going to be performed. Right? So we need to look at ourselves in the context of not the past, but where we are taking the future with both our hands, all our intentions. So clearly, since the cave era, we've been tool makers and traders. Therefore, we will never fail at it. But what we have always failed at, and we continue to fail at, is building that intention of discovering our life location on the planet, in the universe, in the society, with each other, at Qatar, at the UN, in your countries, in your sleep, in your thoughts. in your heart, in your soul, in your communication. There's a lot to be said, but I think I will pause here and open the floor for any questions, reflections, thoughts, feedback. It's all yours. Thank you.
Ati, thank you very much. Thank you very much for that great insight. We really appreciate it. It is really thought-provoking. And I'm sure we all capture something from that short speech. So thank you once again. I like us to make this very interactive. So we're gonna get into an interactive session, but before we do that, I'd like to bring on our final speaker for today before we go into the interactive sessions. And we're also gonna have the opportunity, every one of us is gonna have the opportunity to ask questions and make contributions and provide more insight to the group. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on our final speaker, who one is the Chief Technology Officer of Concord app. Also, he's an AI engineer at Semaphore Foundation in the name of Kefis Longshack. Kefis, over to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. My name is Kefis Longshack, and I lead as CTO at Concord App and Technology Support at Semaphore Foundation. And I'll be speaking on harnessing AI to power the guardians of environment. Our shared responsibility. When we look around today, it's impossible to ignore what's happening to our planet. The weather is changing, forests are shrinking, floods, droughts, wildfires are now regular news. In Africa, Asia, America, like communities face extreme heat, rising sea levels, and polluted air. But in the middle of all of this, there's hope because humanity has something powerful in its hands, which is technology. For the first time in history, we can combine human compassion with artificial intelligence to heal, restore, and protect our environment. The real question is this: how do we bridge technology and sustainability, not just for today, but for posterity? The power of AI as a bridge. Technology, when used right, can be nature's greatest ally. Artificial intelligence helps us to see what our eyes can't, which is the patterns, the hidden patterns in nature that guide us to smarter solutions. For instance, Google's flood forecasting initiative now helps to protect millions of people across 80 countries by sending early warnings before rivers overflow. In Brazil's Amazon forest, AI-powered drones and acoustic sensors from Rainforest Connection listens for chainsaw sounds in order to stop illegal logging before it even spreads. And in the Pacific Oceans, organizations like the Ocean Cleanup, uses AI-driven vessels to map and remove plastic waste, reducing marine pollution on a massive scale. These examples shows us that AI isn't just about code and numbers, but it's about protecting lives, communities, and ecosystems. The powering the guardians of environment. Technology alone cannot save our planet, which definitely people can. The guardians of our environment are the farmers planting trees, the scientists studying the coral reefs, and the young people organizing cleanup drives in cities from Manila, Nairobi, Sao Paulo. AI should empower these people and not replace them. In Kenya and India, farmers are using AI-powered tools to predict crop diseases, manage irrigations, and decide the best time to plant. These improves food security and reduces waste. And across North America and Europe, reforestation project like Drone Seed uses AI and drones to plant trees in wildfire areas across vast lands in record time. These innovations prove that when we give the right tool to the right people, change happens. Building a responsible and inclusive future. We must remember that bridging technology and sustainability must be on ethics and inclusion. AI must be sustainable in itself, powered by clean energy, transparent in design, and must be accessible to developing nations. We can't allow the same technology that helps part of the world, one part of the world, to go green, to worsen inequalities elsewhere. Everyone from rural farmers to city dwellers must have a seat on the table of innovation. A call for collective action. Bridging technology and sustainability is not just about saving the planet. It's about protecting our shared future. Posterity will not remember how advanced our machines were, but how wisely we use them. If we choose to align innovation with responsibility, AI with empathy, and progress with purpose, then we can truly say that we've built a bridge that lasts. Let us use technology not to dominate nature, but to understand it, not to replace human effort, but to empower it, not to chase short-term gains, but to ensure long-term survival. Together, we can harness AI to empower the guardians of the environment and build a greener, fairer, and more sustainable future for the next generation to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Kefis. Thank you so much for those insights. We appreciate it. AI is inherently strategically important when we talk about climate change, when we talk about sustainability, and I think we all know that, but giving us those insights is just reaffirming why we should never lose sight of what is already made available to help even in our work. So thank you once again for that. I'm going to dive into the interactive sessions, and we're all going to have opportunity to ask all of the questions that we do have, and any insight that we want to bring to this group as well. But before we dive into that, we've heard our speakers speak on varying topics, and I just wanted to kind of pose the first set of questions to them. Arti, I would like to start from you because you talked a lot about being the steward of the environment, and I just want to ask you, in your insight, how can applying the principle of intersectionality within the private sector enhance environmental stewardship as a driver of social development?
You see, the whole corporate world or the business world has a very clear division in its structure where it puts corporate social responsibility as a separate vertical, a separate department. And therefore, in the regular functioning, in the regular planning, in the regular execution, material sourcing, and technology identification and deployment, none of that intersects. So there is something that's emerging on the horizon, and I'm not too sure how validated it is, but it is known as the zebra economy, where profit is equal to purpose. Yes? So when we look at the structuring, which is why I said that the institutional design or the design of our institutions, I'll give you a very simple example. So Japan is suffering from a population collapse. Many other countries, Europe is suffering from a population collapse. There are two reasons. A, we've got an aging population. B, we haven't included women in their natural avatar to be custodians, stewards, and participants in the mainstream activities and decision making. So basically, we guys have refused to make babies, collectively. We're just refusing. We don't want to make babies. We don't want to be in an institution called marriage, which is just so limiting to the natural sensibilities of how we are designed as beings, as creatures. And it's going both ways. So both the genders or any other gender, none of the genders are getting their due on this planet as of today. Come to think of it. So it's almost like we've structured and positioned ourselves like a snake eating its own head. Right? So if we want to, sort of shift the gear and get on a better track, there is no other social technology that can help us except for humbling down. Nature is so wide, it is both beautiful and brutal in equal measure. And it's been in business for billions and billions of years. And here, we are trying to compete with it. To me, that is comical. It is a farce. It is a lie. It is depleting. It is not giving us the sunlight. It's not giving us the water. It is not allowing us the photosynthesis. Nigeria, and I happen to have an interaction with one of the ministries in Nigeria. So there's no electricity. The rivers are dirty. There's plastic pollution. Communities are kept undereducated and underprivileged on a certain purpose because there's excessive drilling, there's excessive mining. All of this is going on. So when you look at this, we effectively are active as individuals for roughly about 25 to 30 years. And within that, we want to murder each other. We want to corrupt communities. We want to corrupt generations. We want to control each other. When one tight slap from nature and we all fall line or we all fall down. And that reality is not sinking in. Something has detached and unplugged us so badly that we are walking around without our connection with consciousness. And therefore, to majority of us, the talk about consciousness sounds like foo-foo. But it is the technology that is present and resides within us. We are guided by the cosmos. We are guided by the planetary systems. We are guided by the solar winds. We are guided by literally our neurological structure is based. It's exactly like how you would find a nebula in outer space, right? So if you look at us, we are stardust with some electrical charge, unless the electrical charge is turned off. And within that little range of us coming alive and us being together, we still cannot function together as a species to perform our purpose. That's insane. So I think the corporate world, the business world, the manufacturing world, the heavy engineering world needs to take a long look at what it's been doing, what it's doing, where we are headed, because trust me, the best of them neither would like to live in the deepest bunker on this planet, nor in outer space where greenery will still take time to come and birds will still take time to chirp. It's not going to be pleasant for any one of us. That's the truth. I hope that answers somewhere.
That is thought-provoking. I actually took a note down when you said profit is equal to purpose. And I'm still kind of thinking about that because there's a lot of wide things just going through my head. Almost sounding like maybe we need to reverse that. Or really understand that in context. This is amazing. Thank you for that. Appreciate that.
And just one last thing I'd like to add to this, just going back to the energy piece that I was talking about and the kind of grassroots work that I've done. You'd be happy to know that I at least made the first motion as action item 24, Impact of the Future, which literally was a great crashing moment for me. I just walked into the conference and I said, can we please answer this question, which is that one human institution that works the best, is the most collaborative, you cannot take it down, we all rely on it. People gave me all sorts of crazy answers, but the answer is transnational organized crime. So action item 24 is all about that. Thank you.
Thank you. That was great. Once again, thank you for that insight. I like to kind of throw it open to the group. I know the group, I don't know if there's anyone right now who has a question. I still do have questions for the speakers, but in the meantime, I want to see what questions we have in the group. Maybe we can start to kind of take them as they come. Let me see if there's any questions in the chat, but if not, feel free to raise your hand and I'll just, we'll take your question. Or if you have a comment or if you have an insight that you want to share with the group as well.
It's a question in the group already. One for Joshua.
Okay. Let me see if I can find it.
What do you mean by
I know the
fundamental
question.
reorientation? Yeah.
It says, what do you mean by fundamental reorientation?
Reorientation. Let me fill that for you.
My
Go on.
brain has gone back to sleep.
Yeah, go ahead, Joshua.
Do you want to ask the question since I clearly can't talk?
Well, I am looking for it.
Fundamental
Let me get that for
reorientation
you.
of human conscious. How will it be brought? What do I mean by that? Look, we're not aware, we're not present. I mean, prime example, how many of us were on our phones during this meeting? I'm not calling anyone out, I'm just saying, like, the idea of being present is something that has lost us because we have so many distractions. We are distracted by like this idea of this in the Americas. We have, oh God, this is like one of those questions that's going to get me maybe in trouble. So I'm going to be very, very careful how I answer this question. We are distracted, angry, confused. We lack identity. Because of convenience, we have become so separated from reality. We are so disconnected from our creator and what the creator wanted from us. Convenience is absolutely, I mean, I love convenience. It's great. But at the same time, it's caused us to not have to rely on, I mean, this is a kind of a spiritual thing, but we quit relying on our creator. We've got so many distractions. We can go to social media. We don't sit and be still. We're not aware. When we're eating at the table, we're doing this. We're not talking to our families. All of this has just separated us and divided us, not just from our creator, but from each other. And instead of celebrating uniqueness and finding out how that we can work together and collaborate and elevate each other into positions of greatness, into the purpose that we were created for. The world, okay, the one thing that's really beautiful about the creator economy is the fact that the creator created us to create, and that gives us an opportunity to reconnect with God. And with all of the advances in technology that are going to absolutely break, the gatekeepers are gone. The path to entry now, anyone can access. You don't need to go to Hollywood to make a movie, to act. You don't need that, right? You have all of these things that are really, really amazing, and they are. So, but the problem is, instead of seeing these technological advances like AI and other things as tools, some of it's being used to enslave us or to distract us from God, from relationships and the things that matter. We are looking on social media where everything is curated in such a way to say, I'm perfect, look at me. You need to be like me. We've gotten so lost of reality. Like the funniest thing to me is this. We know for a fact that certain governments have, how do I say, they have production companies, right? Where they can use media, like film sets, to paint a narrative for the world. Like we know that we've been misled. We've caught CNN and many other news organizations falsifying stories, using production companies to create a scene. We know this. We know that Mossad does this. That's one organization. We know this, okay? Yet at the same time, we believe what we're being told on our screens anyway. We know the politicians lie to us. We know for a fact, yet we still go vote anyway. We don't push back. We still take the narrative that they push down our throat. That is because we are so disconnected from reality, where intuition has been robbed because we are distracted. We're distracted from hearing God's voice, whatever you call the creator that created all of us. And I don't want to disrespect any religion, but we all have a really amazing, mighty force, whatever name you choose to give. I'm not here to lecture, but someone created us and we were given a purpose, but yet we are distracted from that purpose because of all of these other things. So getting back to consciousness and the fundamental reorientation of that is simply this. Maybe don't take the phone to the bathroom so you sit on the toilet for 25 minutes, wasting time. Maybe when you go out for a nature walk, instead of having headphones in and your phone with you, listen to nature. Be present with nature. Be in awe of what the beautiful things around us. Because I know one thing, when I start to recognize that God is in Artie, God is in me, God is in who else is here? Let's just Philip, you know, God, and then the trees that were created, and the oceans and the waters, and the bees and the birds and all the other, and tigers and zebras and giraffes. Giraffes are awesome, by the way. God, like, we have a creator that created that. And yet we don't appreciate that.
Yeah.
And so anyway, the answer to that is just getting back to the basics. Like, one amazing thing with technology is that, yes, it's going to absolutely provide opportunities for the underserved. There's some responsibility that comes in that, but also with these conveniences, it allows us to get some of this work done faster, so we have time to work and volunteer and spend time in our community, spend time with our families. So
Thank
that's
you.
really all it means.
Thank
Sorry,
you,
I
Joshua.
probably
That's
rambled a little bit too. Look, I broke a sweat.
Oh, no worries. Just got real. Just got real for a minute. Thank you, Joshua. That's really appreciated. RT, I do see
Yes,
you have your
I,
hands
I,
up.
I just wanted to add to what Joshua was saying. I think, you know, when you talk about the fundamental reorientation of human consciousness, we are still far out from that. Yeah. You begin tapping into consciousness when you've already, you know, spent yourself understanding how the world works, how certain things are, why certain things are. So I think it really begins with questioning and attributing reason to certain things that make us upset or angry or judgmental. I think it is about attributing reason, looking into the history, because none of us live in episodic on an episodic template. We're all in continuation of each other and everything. Thank you.
Thank you, Adi. I do see Mulid Abdi Ali. You have your hands up. Did you have a question? Mulid? All right. All right, we'll keep your hands up. Just let me know once you're back. We'd like to take your question as well. Before we go on, there's a question I do have, Joshua, and this is actually a question for you. Um, how do you think that, how can embracing intersectionality within the private sector unlock human potential to strengthen inner stewardship and advance effective environmental guardianship for sustainable social development?
Okay, ask that one more time, please.
How can embracing intersectionality within the private sector help unlock human potential to strengthen inner stewardship?
I don't know. I haven't really thought about that question. That's not really an area that I think a whole lot about. And
Or maybe I can maybe kind of
thank,
expatiate a little more
yeah,
on
thank
that.
you.
Yeah. Um, Essentially, how can we advance effective environmental guardianship? Like,
Okay,
yeah,
look,
for
to
sustainable social
me,
development.
we have to get back in touch with reality, because I don't think we would even have the heart to care about it. Like, we have all of these huge marketing campaigns to push agendas down people's throats, and we all know how it works. You spend billions and billions of dollars to push an agenda to get people to believe one way, and they go to the extreme. So the pendulum swings way far. And they've done that with all these marketing campaigns and done it. So they push it so far. And then when people push back, what happens is they start to go, oh, okay, we've got a victory. But what happened to the pendulum that they moved over here? Yeah, it swung back, but look, it's here now. What I'm saying is this moves the agendas. This kind of behavior is a problem, because rooted inside of all that is what gets us to attack each other. Like, I don't understand why we have to have these funded agendas to try to divide us into forced narratives. Like, that in itself is disheartening. But the problem is most people, at least in my experience, don't even realize that's happening. We don't have like, okay, so it's pointless to watch the news in America because the news doesn't tell you the truth. It doesn't. It doesn't. And then if they do tell you something, then they change it the next day. Like the people that we should be listening to are on the world stage, and we're very fortunate to be able to attend UN meetings and other things where we're listening because that's where all the decisions are made. And yet the general public is distracted by social media and everything else and all the fighting that's gone on because of some of these agendas that they don't see and listen to what the world leaders are doing. There's a big population in the world that thinks that people will be enslaved by Agenda 2030. A huge population of people think that. You know what? I was a conspiracy within the conspiracy theorist before. Like I was born that way. I questioned everything. And so when I first started hearing about some of the things that would happen with Agenda 21 and Agenda 2030 when I was younger, I was kind of freaking out until I actually took the time to learn. And now I understand that I understand the true opportunity that's here. I actually do believe some people will be enslaved by the changes that are coming, but those are the people that sit around and do nothing and take their universal basic income. I believe that that's going to happen and they're going to feel enslaved. I really believe that. But the people that recognize the opportunity that's available in the creator's economy, the storytelling economy, they understand that what is actually about to happen when the whole world changes is that it's actually a blessing. It's a blessing. Underserved people from underserved communities all over the world. I'm part of that underserved community. I know what it's like to be disabled, and thank God for technology because I wouldn't be able to do anything I do without it because of my situation. And yet at the same time, technology causes me pain, which is also another story. But besides that, like I wouldn't be able to have done any of the things that I've done. I wouldn't be able to pull myself out of poverty without it. But so what I'm getting at is this: the United Nations showed the world the plan of how to prepare. But yet our school systems, our educational systems, our local news, even our local government, that they act like that's not happening. So the world around us, all these things are changing, and most of the citizens thinks it's one thing, not actually understanding that there's a bigger picture at play because Agenda 21 and Agenda 2030 are in full motion right now. So what we need to do a better job of is actually educating the public so that they're actually prepared and ready. That's what needs to be done. We need to encourage media literacy. I actually think the form of capitalism we have in the United States is actually I think it's kind of dirty, to be honest with you. And I'm all for a system where the creatives, the creators, the people actually create the thing, they're the ones that benefit the most. Whether it's your talent, it's your writing. Like I believe that tapping into that for young entrepreneurs and other people is going to help really, really change things. But I think from the private sector and these big companies, I think all that stuff's going to change. Like, I don't think the way that business that has been done for our lifetime, I think all that's about to change. And because of that, that's why I didn't have much of an answer for it. But what we do have an opportunity right now to pull people out of poverty, to give people hope. And also the other thing that we can do that I think is very important is stop sharing damn opinions on social media. Because opinions are doing nothing but causing further division. But if we started sharing stories, real stories, like if everything has a frequency, if truth has a powerful frequency, if truth has the power to hurt and break you in half, but yet also heal you, think about that energy. So if we tap into stories, and like, here's the thing about truth too, that's really funny. None of us really know the absolute truth about anything. None of us. None of us. The closest thing to truth that we know is from our own life. Like we get a download, a vision, maybe our God's talking to us, and like we're prompted to do something, and then we go do it. I'm like, oh, okay. And then like that, you taking action, like you got to see why, right? Well, there's some truth in that. Then you have your story, how you did it, how you overcame, what you've learned in your life. Even though your perception of what that truth is may not exactly be the exact truth, the fact is the energy behind it is more powerful. It's healing.
Absolutely.
That will do more positive for the world than sharing our opinions. So
Absolutely.
I could talk about all that forever, and I hope I answered your question, or maybe I didn't even answer it, but that's what I told you. So there we are.
Thank you. Thank you. That's really, I mean, there's a lot of things I can pick out of that. So thank you for that insight. What we're gonna do next now is, I think we have about 10 minutes left here. Is I don't think we have any hands up. Let me make sure there's no other questions in the chat. After. Okay. All right. I don't believe there's any other question in the chat in the meantime. But what I want to do real quick is I want to throw a question to the group. And, anyone is free to answer this. Because, it's really very interesting when you begin to kind of talk about the role of women, right, in all of this. So the question is, how can an intersectional approach empower women in informal work, essentially informal work sector, to transition into an influential green leadership role within the private sector? We talk a lot about the private sector and the role of women in that. So how can that approach help empower women in the informal work sector to transition into an influential green leadership role within the private sector?
Wouldn't it be appropriate for Artie to answer this question?
I almost wanted to say Audie, but I wanted to throw it out to the group, but then if no one answers it.
I didn't raise my hand. I just put my my mic on. We're in sync there. Okay, so just repeat the question. Maybe let that sink in a little more.
Yeah, it's how can an intersectional approach empower women in informal work sectors to transition into an influential green leadership role within the private sector?
Absolutely. It's surprising that in India, that's not a concern any longer. It's completely merit-based. Yeah. But once you join the job, of course, things unfold differently. But I think increasingly, globally, we need to have a little more worth for merit. Clearly, in this world, we do not have worth for merit. I mean, I might be a plasma physicist, but I don't have a bank balance. Anybody can talk down to me. So the system of evaluating people based on a singular parameter has to shift. It has to shift. The other day I was in this conference where they were awarding principals for doing some game-changing work. And the only thing that came up to me was that, for you to recognize potential, you need to have the potential to recognize. And that hasn't been nurtured. It's so fundamental in terms of the corruption that we are experiencing, that we are a part of, that none of us are taught to value each other. We are taught to compete with each other. And that is a very left-brained orientation. It is colorless. If you move to the right-brained, which is the dominant feminine aspect, which is more colorful, which is more creative, which doesn't work within boundaries, it doesn't talk to just return on investment. Yeah, it talks about the impact created. And that doesn't sit right with the way the private sector functions, because the private sector is structured differently. So here, to me, the structure, unfortunately, is the message. Now, if I want to participate in there, I have to compete against that message. All right. So when you look at the private sector, it's all in the structures. It's all in the structures and the misstructures, the structuring and the misstructuring that we've, so comfortably and shamelessly gone ahead and chosen over the tougher and the longer road, which slows you down because that's how nature works. So you want environment stewardship, you want sustainability, you want to be more nature reverent, to use my own term. None of this is going to work till the time we do not decide to restructure our misstructures. So in the current format, it ain't happening, my friend. We're just at war. We're just in a state of conflict perpetually.
Thank you, Adi. Appreciate that. One final question, and this might be going out to Kefis. If Kefis is still here, I might just want to throw this out to you because this has to talk about AI. And the question is, how can intersectional approach guide the private sector in harnessing AI technology to empower environmental guardians?
Well, first of all, I think one of the major problems that we need to address is that technology now is not used necessarily for the environment. People are using technology more now to enrich themselves rather than basically finding a way to make sure that the world sort of like just continues and becomes better. All the damages have been done, are being fixed, but none of that is happening at the moment. Most of the companies that you see right now, they are focused more on profit at the expense of everybody else and of all of our resources. So we need to find a way to either hold them accountable or find a way to make sure that whatever they are doing, they are able to bring back. So we be able to add to the efforts of making sure that we are able to fix whatever damage has been done, and then be able to make sure that we have a future that we can actually hand over to the next generation. So I feel like, first of all, accountability needs to be the very first thing that we need to look at. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Kefis. Appreciate that. We're coming to the end of our sessions. Like we said, we wanted to make sure that we keep it at 90 minutes. So this has been really, really impactful. But before we do a final wrap up, does anybody have any additional questions, any thoughts, any insight that you want to add to the group before we round up?
Always me. So
Go for it.
we'll DoTheDream, publish a report from Qatar and the side events that we can literally build upon and maybe form working groups to get going some of the agendas at a global level, maybe not just one part of the world, but can we start working like a commons group? Yeah, DoTheDream already is a commons group, but we've been doing these side events at various UN events. I think it's time that we start sort of publishing a report. We start sort of getting more eyeballs and hands on deck to expand on these ideas that we've been talking about, because 90 minutes is not sufficient. We need narratives. We need a shift in the narrative, exactly like Joshua was talking about it, right? So you have an ongoing narrative. How do you move that? It's like blood transfusion. When you have a disease, you don't empty the man. You're at it parallelly, perpetually, all the time. So I think that's the next thing. That's just feedback and a reflection on this lovely discussion that we've had here. Thank you.
Yeah, that's definitely great. Thank you for those thoughts. We'll take that to heart. And you would, fingers crossed, you will learn more about that going forward. So once again, thank you, everyone. I mean, this has been a very, very impactful. I think someone has a hand. That might be Adebusi. I think you might have a thought. Go ahead. Go for it.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President, for a wonderful work. It's been amazing and very impactful. Oh, hello. Thank you, Mr. Vice President, International Fellowship, for that wonderful moderation, and it's been amazing, impactful, and solid. Just to respond to what Ati shared, that is there going to be a report? Are we going to continue this conversation, or is it just a one-off things that we just want to do, or is it that we just want to keep doing event and not follow events up? We are glad to let you know that just few days ago, we got accredited, got voted into a board of a 77 years old organizations, conference of NGOs in consultative relationship with the United Nations. And that's one of the biggest platforms that consult directly with the member states on topical issues like this environment. So we're going to be riding on that with our organization and also with yours and with like minds globally to come up with the first draft, second draft, third draft, and reports that can become a policy formula or policy document for member states to work with. So one thing we can assure you and share with you, is this is going to be an ongoing conversation until we actually get to the root and come up with value chains that will shape our world at large. Thank you so much. Over to you, Mr. Vice President, National Affairs.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that insight. So with that, we will wrap up this session. It's been very, very impactful. Thank you for the many contributions. Thank you, our speakers, Artie, Joshua, Kefis, and of course, Claudia, who had to run to another meeting, and to everyone who's participated in one way or the other, both with comments and questions. And thank you for giving us the opportunity to be able to share this time with you. You would hear from us, going forward. But if you do need to contact us, feel free to contact us. I think you all have our email addresses because you got this invite some way or the other. However, if you'd like to engage with us in any form, feel free to reach out. But we like to kind of continue this conversation. We'll be reaching out to you. We'd like you to be part of, some of the things we're doing, everything that we're doing as custodian of the world that we live in. So once again, thank you, everyone. With that, we would wrap up and adjourn for whatever next we converge again. Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Blessings, everyone.
Yeah.
Bye, everyone.